Up to this years, I can say that within my class producer, right? Sounds cocky, yes, it's cocky, but it's true. Within 4 years of studying music, I was the best producer. For the simple fact that I was pretty much the only one who's properly focused about things. Most people were artists, and productionally, I was progressing faster than most people. I took a year off and then I came back. Now I'm in a new class. Within this class, there's one guy. He's like far better producer than I'll probably ever be. Like, dude's really dedicated to his craft. To the point that he seriously knows more about production than the teachers themselves. You know, and one of the teachers has been doing that for a living for a few years. But this dude's like on it. He's always in the studio. He's always researching about recording methods and mixing methods. He, he works with bands for free just to get more experience. You know, he's really knowledgeable kind of guy. And I think if anyone makes it in the music industry, it'll probably be him out of my class and shit. I'll probably be him. And yeah, he's a great guy as well. He's been helping me out when I've been struggling a bit and shit. But yeah. And what I'm thinking is, I've got a final major project assignment next year, which is a big one. It's worth like most of the credits, and I'm thinking of doing an EP or an album even for that assignment of funky dance music, like future funk, new disco kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking of asking him if he's interested in a bit of a collaboration, because I've realized the side that I like, the thing that I like in a studio, is not so much the mixing and mastering, the technical bit. It's the creative bit that I really like. Whereas he's much better at the technical mixing side of things. Whereas I've noticed I'm a bit better in the creative side of things. So I'm going to ask him if he's interested in, doing that to add to his grade. I focus on the creative bit, and he focus. So I focus on the music. He focuses on the sound. And yeah, it should be fun, man. It should be fun. It's good stuff. We've got lovely equipment in there, man. Really, really nice stuff. Do you know SSL discs?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we've got an SSL matrix in our main studio, worth like 15 grand, and it's like fully synchronizable to Logic Pro. So it's really cool to load up a project and see the faders like match Logic Pro's mixing, thingy. It's really, really cool. And then it's got that thing that if you accidentally nudge a fader, it will it will snap back into position. It's kind of creepy because I didn't realize that at first. And I knocked one of them over, and then I felt the fader like push against my finger, and I didn't know I could do that. I was like, what the fuck? Kind of scared me a little bit at first. It's good shit. And we've got are you also familiar with TL Audio stuff? Yeah, TL Audio.
I don't think so.
Right, hold on. They do really nice outboard, like preamps, valve preamps. I'm gonna see if I can. Yeah, we've got one of these. Hold on. We've got one of these in the Hold on. We've got one of these in the studios. That's like worth 30 grand or something like that, I think. It's a really, really nice recording console. I love the tone that it can give. And then we're also like full of really nice microphones as well. We've got Newmans, we've got Earthworks, got all sorts of, good gear.
Yeah, I want some Earthworks mics.
Yeah, they're really nice, man. Really nice. They can be a bit of a pain to work with though, because they really do pick up everything. And they're so sensitive as well. The only problem I have with the gear in them is the actual rooms are shit to record in. It's terrible, and to mix, it's just horrible. And the amps as well, they suck. But most people just bring their own equipment at this point in terms of amps and instruments, so that's not too much of a deal. Right, I think it's time for me to actually do the work rather than procrastinate this much. Let's do this. Matthews. Oh, shite. Fuck's sake. Hold on. Fuck's sake. It's 2 amps. It's working. It is.
Hello?
Hello.
Finally I'm able to speak. There's something wrong in my computer. The audio doesn't work. So I'm home and I'm using my mother's computer since she's out.
Hello. I think you're an ISTJ.
Probably not.
Well, you act like one.
How?
I don't know.
I think I act very different in reality than online. So maybe like online I have more of a STJ persona.
Well, you have kind of like a sort of like a prim and proper sort of attitude that I usually associate with STJs. They're very they stand very straight. Let's put it that way.
Okay, in real life I'm
Okay.
like that, but I'm on the internet because I feel as though I'm sort of over imaginative of what people may see and think about me. Because, of course, this is going to stay on the internet forever, so I have to be careful, but not in real life.
Oh, you're just really self-conscious. Okay.
Yeah.
What type do you think you are?
I think I'm an INFP. Nobody seems to believe me, which is weird because a lot of INFPs believe there's something else, and nobody seems to want to be an INFP, sort of. I could be an ENFP, but I always consider myself to enjoy being alone. And I tire easily whenever around people. I don't get their energy and classical play.
Yeah, ENFPs are stereotypically known as introverted, extrovert. But I mean, I think you could be an INFP. Either way, you're working with FI and SI.
Yeah. And I have TE as well. I clearly know that. It's funny because, like, I never saw myself as an INTJ, and I don't think I am.
No, you're definitely Delta Quadra.
What does that mean?
It means somewhere in your stack you have the TE-FI pair and the SI-NE pair. So you're either an NFP or an STJ.
One of my school classmates I think she's an ISTJ, and in regard to like comparing it to her behavior, I find that like when I write, I'm really poor with like stuff such as grammar, in the sense that I think more about the big picture when I'm trying to get my point across. I worry later about how things like comma splices, and I tend to make quite a bit of fragments, and I'm really poor at kind of knowing my own mistakes. Somebody has to point them out.
I mean, in my experience, INFPs are actually very good natural writers.
I'm good at like getting ideas across. People say that I'm a natural writer. I'm just really poor with grammatical rules because I just rewrite.
Do you spell things incorrectly, or do you just don't know how to use commas? Because there's a difference there.
Yeah, I don't really. I can spell things correctly. It's just more the grammar, like the structure.
Okay.
Well, I honestly, like, sometimes I don't spell things correctly, but I usually am pretty good at that because spell check. I'm very in Grammarly, and like if it wasn't for automated systems, my papers would be really like sometimes unreadable in the first draft. They don't make any sense, but they make sense to me because it's kind of like a stream of consciousness.
Okay. Yeah, I also find that like ISTJs, because like I have a little stepsister who's definitely one, and she loves getting like responsibilities, and like
I don't.
she's always sure to get her homework done and out of the way. I mean, shit, she even asked her mom if she can change into her PJs before she does it. She's like,
Oh, I don't like homework. I don't really like to attain responsibilities because then I feel like I have to deliver on them. I don't do well under pressure or just don't like the idea of being in charge for somebody else.
Well, it's not necessarily being in charge of anything. It's just
No, I mean others depending on me. I guess that would be a good thing. Like I don't like responsibility, in the sense that I won't take it on willingly.
that's
And I don't feel like obliged to like do my homework all the time. I'll do it if I need to learn a concept, but I don't think doing rote work is necessary. Like if there's other ways of learning. And I don't. That's what I hate most about school is that bureaucratic process.
okay. Well, STJs love bureaucracy.
I don't. It's like, okay, you have this many either tests to study for, or term. Like, why can't we just talk more about theoretical concepts of genetics and looking at twin studies and relation to environment and I guess socialization. I just would like to just have like some discussion about experiences, your childhood, and then looking at genetic factors and how it might affect us. But they're all like, we have to look at these empirical studies and you have to memorize the results and then you have to regurgitate them on a test. And they're not as fun. Even though the material itself could be interesting. It is interesting in it, but it's like you have to perform.
Are you athletic at all?
No.
No. Okay.
I suck at gym class when I was a child. I do it because I think it's like wanting to be good at SC. I think somebody told me about in your third or is it fourth position, if you have it, you want to improve on that because I am conscientious of my health, but I don't want to do it because I enjoy athletics.
Well, I mean, I find that STJs are usually fairly good at sports. They usually have pretty good like awareness and control of their bodies, and like it's part of what makes them have such good posture all the time.
Yeah, well, like me, my mother would get upset because I'd often spill stuff like milk. And she's like, once is an accident, but you do it like 3 or 4 times or like multiple times. Like, you're just careless. I'm really bad at sort of like spatial awareness. Like, I never liked geometry.
Well, spatial reasoning in your head is kind of different from actual spatial awareness around you.
I can visualize things well. I'm just talking about
I mean, that's what geometry has to do with, as far as I can tell. It's just visualizing things.
Well, maybe geometry isn't such a good point. It's sort of like the idea of just I don't really like to have to be fully aware of what's happening around me all the time. Because I'm
Well, neither do I, but I still breeze through geometry.
Oh, it's not about geometry. I think that was a bad example. It's more to do with the fact that what I don't like about math is that it's about, I guess, training your brain to solve problems, but I'd rather, I guess the thing is, rather just discuss, I guess, problems versus actually trying to try to solve them. And it sounds like I don't know. I've never really liked math because I've had very poor basics as a child. In the sense that I I have ability to do it. It's just that I'm very careless at it. I make like silly mistakes all the time, and then I get bad grades. Like I can do math. I understand the concepts. It's just that I don't really know how to kind of like do it accurately and then get enough good grades.
Okay, I mean, I'll leave you as an INFP for now.
Yeah, I would believe so. Like, I don't know, I'm not, it shouldn't matter. Like, you know, this discussion is more than about MBTI. It makes you seem
Right.
like, you know, but for some reason, I've just never, ISTJ is like my mother. She's definitely an ISTJ. And it's the whole thing, when you live in close proximity, you don't want to see yourself with somebody like that. But me and her are very different.
Yeah, it sounds like you have TE, but it's not very good. And you don't have any SE. And your SI is in a position where, like, were you ever, like, a germaphobe or anything like that? Like, do you get, like, neurotic about certain health-related things?
Not if there's non-reasonable cause. Like, if I go into a hospital, I'll make sure that I, like, you know, wash my hands. And when I come home, I'll take off my clothes and wash them, like, you know, put them in the laundry basket, but, like, not random. Not, like, you know, like, there has to be...
So wait, when you get home from a hospital, you immediately wash your clothes?
No, I don't wash my clothes. It's just saying that I, will take them off and put them in the laundry basket.
Well,
I don't wash them.
well, I know you don't personally wash them, but, like...
I put them,
Okay.
yeah, I wash my clothes, I put them in the... Nothing is hand washed these days. I just put them in the thing. I'm not going to start a load of laundry if I don't have enough clothes.
Well, that wasn't the point of the question, really. I find that curious. Because I don't think most people would do that.
I have bad anxiety and high neuroticism, let's just put it that way.
Okay, so that does sound kind of like third slot SI. Is like, when I was like a kid, like I'd have things where I didn't want people like double dipping if they were like chips and dip or something.
Yeah.
Like I was afraid of germs.
I
I wash my hands all the time.
I sort of have irrational fears sometimes. Like when one of them was practicing for a biology exam, and I was doing online questions, and then I just suddenly stopped because I thought, what if these questions were on the exam? Like, what if somebody leaked them, and then if I were to do the exam, then I would be technically cheating. So then I had to tell somebody because I would feel morally obliged to do so, and then it could possibly, the exam could be canceled. And that would suck. And then when I did my exam, of course, none of those questions were on the paper. I don't know why I had that. I don't know, like some random things. I have some odd habits. It's like when I was a little kid, I would go, my mother, like sometimes I go into the store, you know, you don't put, let's say your gloves, you put your gloves in your like pocket. Your camera can't see the gloves. But then when you exit, you put your gloves back on. And I thought the gloves looked very familiar to a pair of gloves that were being sold near the front of the store. So I thought, what if somebody thought I was stealing those gloves? I don't know what it's called. It is neuroticism?
I guess.
Nobody ever
Something to have an overactive super ego. So you're like kind of type 1 on the Enneagram, probably.
I am type 1.
Yeah.
which is fair,
like your greatest fear is basically probably being perceived as doing something morally wrong.
Yeah, I'm very in the sense like I can be untraditional, but I still have like I don't like a lot of the systems that are in place to do moral goodness, such as I guess the traditional like maybe the Catholic Church. But I do think that personally, each person should try to exhibit individual acts of kindness and morality towards people. I think that's what I feel very true to myself. I think there is a lot of flaws in I guess institutions or how people define morality. But I don't think any of us are we are perfectly capable of doing very horrendous things.
Well, it's in this context, it's really a matter of how worried you are that other people will think you're doing the wrong thing.
Yeah, it's more like it's not so much about others. It just makes me feel really guilty. I don't handle guilt well. If I feel guilty about something, I would crack so easily.
No, see, my response to guilt is do not make me feel guilty, or I will be incredibly unhappy. Do not use guilt against me.
Yeah, but it's more like I create a lot of guilt for myself.
But if you guilt yourself, that's yeah.
Yeah, that's maybe not a problem other you may have. Well, I mean, everybody, of course, can feel that in extreme situations, but for me, it's more than common than a lot of people. And I think that's an overactive.
Do you ever break the rules?
I can, but it has to have a moral obligation greater than the rules themselves. It has to be something greater than the rule. It's harder to explain. Like, I sort of admire a civil acts of disobedience if it's for a cause that I see that's worthy. I think there's something appeals to me, the act of
See, I disobey on principle as long as I'm not hurting anyone else. Pretty much.
It's like I think I don't like to break small rules just for the sake of breaking rules. There has to be something greater.
Oh, see, I love doing that.
It's like the opposite. It's like something. Let's say I felt really strongly about a movement, and my mother's like, you shouldn't go to the courthouse to support these people. These are I guess, say thugs, or that's how the media would like to brand them as troublemakers. But I would say, no, I'm going to go there for solidarity purposes because I feel as though if this is greater than, let's say hackers who are exposing information about corrupt people and they're being charged with violation of privacy. And I can see an argument, but also for me, that's something heroic, and I would support such action.
Okay, yeah, that's a pretty INFP thing. Like political radicalism in certain cases.
Yeah, I also go for the non-aggression principle act. I mean, unless you're in a state of war, because the state has gotten to the point where they're pressing people so badly, I wouldn't shed blood unless the force is literally harming and killing other people. Kind of like what the Tiananmen Square massacre. Like if there was a revolution against the government, which didn't really happen out of Tiananmen Square. Yes, I know people would die, and that's technically against my value of human life. but at the same time, if the state was aggressing upon the people in the massacre, therefore the regime, obviously, in my opinion, did not uphold the value of life. So you need to have a change in the system, and they're not going to do it peacefully. They're not willing to, let's say, have democratic and free and
Well, every now and then the tree of liberty must be watered with the blood of patriots and tyrants.
yeah, exactly. That's what I wanted to say. That's pretty much sums it up. Like, usually I'm very, like, anti-war. Like, I'm pretty passive about that sort of stuff. I don't really like action happening like Syria and Iraq right now. I think their motivations that the government isn't being honest about. That's, like, a whole other thing. But, like, the American Revolution is, like, a pretty awesome thing. I don't know how to put it, but I know being a woman back then was very sucky, but it seems like it's like pretty something.
It probably wasn't as bad as you think it might have been.
Yeah. If I was educated, if I was like born in a upper middle class family, I think it would be cool because like how they wrote the Declaration of Independence in such a what is the right word to put it, but forward-thinking way to say that all men are created equal and that, we have natural-born rights, no negative rights. Those concepts and like cloth milk are pretty cool. They didn't include like black people and aboriginals, and there were flaws. I'm not going to ignore that either.
Well, they didn't exclude black people either. It's just that at the time they weren't considered to be people. And so the Bill of Rights didn't apply to them.
Yeah, I understand. Like, you have to understand the context. So it really was like totally normalized in society. And I guess going back to the original question about do you like break rules? Maybe I enjoy breaking rules in the sense of not being PC all the time, which is a very anti-FE thing to do. And maybe
Yes, it is.
a little, a lot of FI valuing people like PC-ness if they tend to be very left-wing in their views. And that always confused me why I tended to not fall into that category. Then again, it's like very generalization to say NFPs are very left-wing in their views, but it tends.
Well, they're not always. Like, Kit Kats is one of the most INF people I've ever met, and she's pretty conservative.
I don't know if I'm conservative.
Well, I think it kind of depends on how mature of an FI user you are, and what kind of values that you have.
Yeah, like where you grew up. Your environment is very important, and who your friends are, people like that, and your parents. Like if your parents are really TE heavy, and you're dominant FI or any, you just I could see that as being recipe for rebellion. And if let's just create a picture with just TE with maybe STJ parents, we're very conservative. oppositionally, then the FI would look for something radically different, which would be, I guess, the leftist movement in the US. So it makes sense. I find a lot of them are drawn to that. Where do you hate banging to? You like, that must be pretty good music, Cyrus.
Do you like headbanging? You listen to any metal?
Yeah. A vestige of my youth.
I was asking our little friend over here.
No.
I know you do.